Hey there, it's Kimberly here with Knit for Brains. And what do I have? I got more books, but these are coming to us from our friends over at Search Press. And this one just released, so stay tuned. We're going to take a look inside. This is really actually a wonderful story. I got this book, this beautiful book, and I've looked through it and I'm already drooling. I've already got some pages dog-eared for patterns, but I got it from Search Press, and they said, we've been watching your videos and we see that you're trying to not buy any yarn in 2025. They're actually paying attention. And we want to help you with that. And so they sent me some books of patterns that are books that are going to be coming out. So you're not going to see all of them at once. Just, hold your horses, put your crochet hooks and your needles in check. You're going to see them, but not all at once. But I love that. They're like, we're going to help you get through your yarn stash. Aren't they nice? Aren't they generous? But the key is there's no yarn. Not saying that there isn't any coming. It's just not happening right now. Anyways, this book here, it's called The Easy Sweater to Knit. Now, this just launched on August 19th. So like a couple days ago, and it's by Search Press, Melanie Berg. And I love the way this book is structured, and I've actually found a couple patterns in here that I already want to try. One of which I've got a sweater that I'm gonna like frog it, I'm gonna rip it, and I'm gonna start a brand new one based on one of these sweaters. So let's take a look inside. So Melanie Berg is actually, she was in IT. And back in 2012, she decided to walk away from her boring IT world and follow her passion and become a knit designer. The patterns in here are really cool, but then she shows some of the testers in it and what they did, and I just love it. So let's go ahead and dive in. The first thing I loved about these sweaters is they're not just your average sweater. They're a little bit more on the modern side, which I love. So they're not going to be super lacy looking, but they're like kind of everyday wear, things that you would actually want to wear, which I love. And they're pretty easy. This one here is called Alive and Kicking. And then it shows you, like what yarn she worked with. I love how this one has a little bit of a swing hem at the end. It's a little bit of a flare out. It's got a real pretty nice little delicate, little bit of lace, but not too much here. Nice soft cap sleeves. This is something that I could absolutely see wearing. And it tells you what yarn to use. She uses a lot of the Ito yarn, I've noticed. And then she also gives you some nice alternative yarns, which is nice because sometimes you have to kind of figure that out on your own, and we got to go to Yarn Sub, but this one's really good. What's also really great about this particular author in this book is they go like size inclusive. So they do 6 sizes typically, at least this one they do. So it goes 1 all the way through to 6. So you don't have to do like the guesswork. It's all pretty much been done for you. And it's done in a seamless fashion. So this is knitted from the top to the bottom, which is real easy. You don't have to worry about a lot of times seaming or doing some real kind of advanced work. This is definitely what I would be calling, I wouldn't say it, maybe it's all beginners, but I think that if you were looking for like a beginner sweater pattern, you're going to find it here in this book. This one here is called Dewberry. I love that. I love a little bit of a fuzz, a little bit of a halo. Now the author lives in Germany, so I was expecting to see a lot of heavier sweaters, but that's not really the case. Like this one here is very light, and so I think I like that. It really speaks to me. This here is a mohair. And this just, she says, short and sweet, knitting projects for in between. And you know what I say about knitting projects? Sometimes they just take so long and they're just a little bit daunting. And this book, I think, really kind of speaks to that. So, if you want to do a project that is like doable, approachable, it doesn't have to be a hat or socks or scarves. It can be even a sweater. This one I thought was really pretty. This ashen. This has some ribbing going on here. It looks like an intricate pattern here. However, it's a pattern repeat. So once you get the hang of it, I think it's actually going to be fairly easy to do. It says it knits up really quickly. She used the Altamora cashmere in 16 by Lana Grossa. But again, they give you alternative ideas right here. But this is beautiful. This is a 78% wool, 12% cashmere, 10% nylon. Okay. That seems pretty luxurious and lovely. And it's cleverly constructed. So each one of these are just a little bit different, little unique. And that's one of the things that really kind of spoke to me. A Study in Pink was one that definitely jumped right out at me. This might be a little bit daunting here at the bottom, but again, this little bit of a lace work, but again, it looks like it's a standard pattern repeat. It looks like it's kind of a leaf pattern. And I think once you get the hang of it, it's not that daunting. I've been doing a lot more knitting. I'm doing some color work knitting, and what seemed to be daunting in the past, it's like you just kind of gotta read the instructions, maybe read through them once or twice, and then I think you're off and running. Cinnamon Daydream. I love this. Once again, we're not looking at really heavy yarns. And so something that is going to be doable and wearable for me being on the West Coast, and even some of you in the Midwest or the East Coast or even in the UK, other parts, but there's not going to be these really big, heavy Shetland wool sweaters and things like that, Aran wool. This one here, she uses a 70% merino, 30% alpaca. This pattern here spoke to me. The Metro Pulse. I like the simplicity of it. I like the modern look to it. But really struck me is she is using a yarn by Ito called Origami, which is made out of paper and wool. I have some yarn from Noro yarn that's made out of paper and linen, and then she actually double stranded this with a mohair and a silk. And I never ever would have thought to double strand the linen paper yarn that I had, if you want to call it yarn, with something else. And that spoke to me, and I was like, oh, I could find a whole new life in that. And this one is one that I think I'm going to challenge myself with. And then this little line here, which I just love how it brings this really modern kind of a flair to it, that's actually crocheted. So this one really kind of spoke to me quite a bit. So this one here, she's using 8 cones and 8 balls. So about, depending on the size that you're going for, anywhere between 498 of one, 675 yards of the other, all the way up to 1,100 and 1,800 and 800, depending on what size you want to go with. But I think that might be my first go with. I don't know. There's something about this, and I love the idea of adding just that little tiny bit of halo to a sweater or to a garment that I was actually kind of concerned it was going to be kind of scratchy and stiff. I mean, the yarn that I have is paper and linen, and she's working with paper and wool. So that might be, the blocking of that is going to be a little tricky because I don't want it to just dissolve on me. This Morning Glow is beautiful, very simple, but I love this band of color, this accentuating. It looks like she's using a variegated yarn here, and then maybe doing some kind of like color work. Yeah, it's really, really cool. Yeah, it's just a color work pattern that she's using here. So using a variegated yarn, bringing it in, and then adding on another contrast color to give it that really interesting stitch. I like that one a lot. That one spoke to me too. How nice of them to go, we want to help you use up your yarn stash. Okay. That just means I have more room to get more yarn. This one I love. I love the kind of those Aztec Navajo blanket looking cardigans. And I've looked to buy them. I've never actually thought to make them, but this one here, I really like this pattern. This is a little bit on the heavier side, but this is more of a cardigan, and it says here it's even knit something for cooler weather. But I think this is beautiful with some jeans. Oof, lovely. And then that, if you didn't notice, this button enclosure is awesome. I have no idea where that came from, but it talks here about picking the perfect yarn in the world of buttons. And sometimes the right button, the right accessory just really makes that garment and just really makes it pop and turns it into a masterpiece, if you will. Now this here is just some really interesting color work going on. And then the sleeves and cuffs are just a knit one, purl one ribbing all the way down. This is a thicker yarn that she's using. So again, going to be a little bit more for the cooler weather, and I'm fine with that. Peach Fuzz. Now this one's interesting because she's using, it looks like and each one of these, I have to say, you got to get the book, but there's a very poignant story with each one of these patterns. This one here looks to me like she's added just the slightest little bit of halo, or the yarn that she chose has halo. So this is 100% merino wool, Yeah, so she's just picking yarn that has just the slightest little bit of halo in it. Oh, okay, so here she's using knitting for olive, which is one of the yarns that I absolutely love. And then she says, do what you want. So what's nice about this is you get the pattern and then you decide. Here she did a big color block and then a really big color block here, brought that color down again here in the hem at the bottom, and then here on the cuffs, and then she did a stripe up in here. So it's do whatever you want to do. Whatever speaks to you, that's what you want to do. Let's see. This one is called Quiet City. This is beautiful. I love this kind of a lattice work that's happening here with a beautiful little bit of a halo. And it kind of looks to me like a little bit of almost a poncho shawl sort of a thing. Oh, it looks like it kind of is. It's a poncho. It's like we're in the same brain. It's like I'm reading it and I'm seeing it and then there it is. It's a poncho-like. That could be one for the books as well. This was the other one that spoke to me. I got this beautiful yarn that I just got from Pearl Soho. And I was starting with a pattern that I wasn't, you know, you start and you're like, oh, I don't really know if I like the yarn with the pattern and I'm not really sure. Do I keep moving forward with this? And then this book arrived and I thought, okay, and I'm not that deep into it that I'm not going to hate frogging it. You know, I probably have maybe about a couple inches or so done. But when I saw this come up, I was like, I think that's what I'm liking. So I'm probably going to frog that pattern and then I'm going to go in and do something like this. And this one really spoke to me because this is just a garter stitch, if you ask me. Very simple. It's really pretty. I love how it gives it this great texture. And again, I love how she's playing with the color blocking, doing your own thing, making the stripes, adding them wherever you feel appropriate. See right here? So we got this nice color block on top, colors that you might not think would go together, but they're very, to me, they're very earth tones, a lot of kind of autumn, cooler colors coming in through here, but these are beautiful fall colors. You got the gold, the oyster, I would say, kind of a blue-gray, and then this beautiful blush pink. Oh, and then there's another color down there. So again, you could do something like scraps with this. You could use, if you had the right yarns, you could do a scrap sweater with that. Snow Cloud. Now this is interesting too, because if you look at here, the sweater construction, this is almost looking into that kind of poncho look as well. It's between stylish and comfortable, a cozy dolman sweater with a flattering boat neck and a ribbed yoke. And so here she's double stranding it. And then tells you what you're doing, and then you can use the alternative. You can mix your own yarn. This is what I love. I have these yarns. I'm like, I don't know what to do, but I think for a long time I was always boxed in by, I have this yarn, I have to make this, and I didn't really open up my mind to think I could take this yarn and double strand it with this yarn and make this really, really cool stuff. For instance, let me show you. This has been up in my yarn stash for the longest time. I bought a bunch of this yarn. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And then I found this yarn. Okay, what am I going to do? But put them together, this is going to be gorgeous. It could be this beautiful sweater with a little bit of these little tassels coming through, but then this beautiful softness coming through as well. And I didn't buy them together. It was purely coincidental. I was actually putting together yarns in my stash and I was like, how did I do that? I am so clever sometimes. I have no idea how clever I really, truly am. Maybe it's not so clever. Maybe the universe is like, you're such an idiot. Do this. But on this little rack here, let me show you what else I pulled together. I had found this yarn, same as the other one, and I got a bunch of this stuff. I was like, what am I going to do with this? I don't know. How about that? That could be super fun, like a vest kind of a thing. Maybe even a poncho like we have. But, you know, I got a lot of it. I got enough to make something. But do I? No, because I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to make with this. I don't know what I'm going to make with this. How about you put them together and you make something incredible? So going back to do your own thing, be your own person. And you want to see something crazy in this one rack? What? Come on. Come on. You can't make this stuff up. I didn't buy these together. I have no idea what I was thinking when I got this. It must have been a great deal. So I have these three colors. I got this stuff here. don't you know that goes together? I tell you, I could probably sit around for the rest of my days and just knit and find stuff to make, and I don't think I'm going to run out of yarn anytime soon. I have more patterns now that I know what to do with, but it's just inspiring. It's so inspiring. I'm loving this. So I am going to find something in this book, and I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to frog out the other stuff, and I'm going to bring, and I'm definitely going to do the linen and paper yarn, and then I'm going to double strand, and I'm going to play around with it a little bit and see if that's something. I mean, for heaven's sakes, but you guys are going to see that. This one here is called Whisper Like. This is a sweet little, kind of like a, not really a tank. It's a top. I wouldn't say it's a sweater. This could be fun with one of those fun, funky sweaters that I pulled out. It's perfect for showcasing a gorgeous yarn like Tibetan Cloud by Mayak. Soft, lovely fiber that comes from ancient breed of Tibetan sheep. Or I could do something fun and funky. Now, if I were to use this, I probably wouldn't do the yoke thing on top, because you wouldn't even see it. There's no way that would even work. I do have some yarns that would be really pretty to go with that. As a matter of fact, this yarn here is a merino yak alpaca from Lion brand. This yarn actually would be beautiful with that. So many choices. So many choices. But you guys know I always share it with you. So eventually you're going to see the mad science mind that is happening there. And then that's just a basic knit and then rib at the bottom. So this was interesting here. So I think these were her pattern testers. And so they kind of did their own thing, but each one has an interesting story. I really like how this book was put together. This one here is from Portland, Oregon. This one's from Spain. This one's from Germany, England, China, Germany, and New Jersey. So kind of from all over. Now this one here, remember we saw that? Just a real basic and simple, and then this really interesting color work across the middle. I love that. This one here, that Metro Pulse, that's one I love that I was going to do with the paper and linen. So all the patterns that really spoke to me have all been tested in here. This is Perfect Stranger. That one spoke to me. This one here, oh, she's from California. And that's that Navajo look that I was hoping to go with. Yeah. I love it. And this is Whisper Like. She actually used 2 different colors here. That's the very last one I think that we looked at. This one. Okay, so yeah, so she just went off and did her own thing in almost like an ombre of colors. Wow. Okay, I am digging this book. Search Press, thank you so much for recognizing a need, a niche, and filling it for me, because this book is definitely going to go to some good use. Easy Sweaters to Knit just came out from Search Press. I think it released on August 19th. So it's available in your bookstores. I'm going to put it on my bookshelf on my bookshop.org. You guys can find it there. And remember, when you do that, you get back to an independent bookseller. These sweaters are very doable. Yes, they're yarn, they're knit. Of course, they're yarn, but they are knit. But to me, they all look doable. And you know, I'm on the novice intermediate side of knitting, and I'm a novice intermediate. Let's put it that way. And these look doable to me. I'm definitely going to be. I think I might be starting with this one, because I'm really curious about how that's going to work out. All right. Well, thanks so much for watching. This is Kimberly with Knit for Brains. And if you've just found me, man, am I so glad that you're here. I've been waiting for you. I've been holding off on all the good stuff until you get here. And now that you're here, all bets are off, right? We're going to do some crazy and fun stuff. We're going to still do the tutorials. We got a lot more tutorials coming up. We got book reviews. We've even got some Project Welcome Home coming up, and so much more. And I'm showing you my whips as well. So if you haven't already, follow me over on Instagram, because you know what? We might be doing some promotions, some giveaways. I don't know, maybe some book giveaways. Could happen. Could definitely happen. Thanks so much for watching. This is Kimberly with Knit for Brains. And as always, I'll see you soon.